What's up, guys? We got Micheal Myers here. Obvious reasons he cannot talk, so we're going to be using subtitles for you. Anyways, we're going to be reacting to other people giving your film a review. So let's jump into that.
But like that's the level of fandom I'm at here. Like the Halloween films, they kind of mean something to me. And I think I go into them a little bit more critical than perhaps your average fan who just wants a horror movie and wants to see Micheal Myers kill some people. If that's all you want, you're going to be totally happy. But I was disappointed in this movie. Very disappointed. It's not a bad film. I certainly do not hate this film. I think the word is frustrated. I'm just very frustrated because there are shades of greatness throughout this film, and we'll talk about those.
It just doesn't feel right. All that aside though, Halloween pulls everything together in one incredible third act marathon. It's a stomach-knotting riot for the most part, and the final reel of this movie has some of the most fine-tuned suspense you'll find in any horror this year. It's no spoiler to say that the finale sees Laurie facing off against Michael, and by mostly shedding the peripheral characters and subplots of the previous hour plus, this final 20 or so minutes feels decidedly capable, efficient and effective. With the possibility that the showdown could go in one of several directions, there's a legitimate sense of unease and anxiety, and Green smartly drags it out to almost unbearable levels. So with all that, all I can say is go and watch it. It's a great horror movie that knows exactly what it is and capitalizes on it. While some parts of Halloween are schlocky, it's in the...
Anyway, on to Halloween. Since there's no non-spoiler review, I'm just gonna give my general thoughts on this movie. When the movie was done, I knew I really enjoyed the hell out of the film. What I came to show up for, it delivered. Jamie Lee Curtis, fantastic in this film. The best part, in my opinion. Close to the best, and if not second best, Micheal Myers. He's amazing in the film. He's really good. John Carpenter music, also amazing. Yeah. Everyone was really excited about John Carpenter coming back to the music and stuff, and I was like, all right, yeah, I guess I'm excited too. And then I listened to him, like, oh, yeah, this is awesome. This is great music.
Especially compared to just all of the installments that have come since that original. Like when you get back to a Carpenter score, you're like, oh yeah, this is the soul. You know, this is part of the soul.
As I kept thinking about it, and then when I woke up, the more I thought about it, the more I realized I really love this movie. And I think this is my favorite one in the franchise. I want to make a disclaimer here. I've never been a big fan of this franchise. Not one. I know like this is just the part 2 to the first one. All the other ones are discounted, whatever. I am the kind of guy who acknowledges that the first movie is an important film in cinematic history. That's one of those major appreciation films and not something I particularly love. I've heard quite a bit of mixed opinions on this review. What you guys were saying about us. I've heard quite a bit of mixed opinions on what people think about this movie. It's like, yeah, there's a Rotten Tomatoes consensus or whatever, but in terms of like the YouTube sphere, so many mixed opinions. And I'm on that side of the fence where I'm like, I love this film. I don't know why people are necessarily disappointed with the movie. I can kind of get why. Yeah, in my personal opinion, I love what they did with it. What about you, John?
Yeah, I really appreciated this too. I mean, it's still, you know, sinking in. It's a big deal to do this kind of sequel at this point in time for Halloween, and I feel like in a lot of ways this is kind of where I'm sitting now, what the first movie sort of deserved. I felt like this is kind of one of the best slasher sequels or best horror sequels I've seen in a long time and perhaps ever.
What happened now officially after the first movie, Jamie Lee Curtis is back. It's 40 years later, and Mike Myers again escapes and goes around killing a bunch of teens, only this time Laurie wants revenge, and she goes in and tries to fight him as well. It's a big epic battle between the two of them for, you know, the last like 15-20 minutes. But it is there. It is definitely there. I had to come at this movie just being 100% honest. This is gonna be kind of unpopular opinion. First Halloween, it's a very good movie. It started a lot of great stuff. I mean, if you're a horror fan, you gotta love Halloween. It's almost like law. I don't get into it that much. I never got into the first Halloween. I got into the first 10 minutes. And then everything else I felt like, well, okay, I've seen this in a million movies, and I try watching it every year. My wife loves the movie, and we always watch it, and I just can't get into it. I don't really get into the characters. I think a lot of the killings are kind of standard. I like a lot of the iconic stuff, like the music and the mask and everything. But the people don't interest me, and the killings don't interest me. I'm not a big slasher guy. I feel like people are gonna like this movie. People that like the first Halloween, or anyone that likes the Halloween series at all, will like this movie because it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of Micheal Myers sneaking around, escaping, going after Laurie again. I feel like they had Laurie acting like kind of vengeful, like crazy, angry. She wants to get him before. I want to say they did that in H2O, but I'm not sure. I never saw all of that movie. But that's kind of the setup, and I was hoping that'd have more of an interesting kind of angle with it. I was kind of hoping a lot more interesting ideas would happen in this because they actually do set up some really cool opportunities, but it just comes back to being the Halloween formula. But